Alonzi, hi, this is Tryniti. So I've got an idea, a message, or an opinion, and today I'm going to share one of those with you. So today's video, and this is my first actual video meant for other people besides friends and family, is about cat nutrition, specifically moisture. Well, why is moisture so important? Let me start by giving you a couple of important facts. More than half of all household cats are overweight or obese. Feline lower urinary tract disease, or FLUTD, is one of the most common issues plaguing cat owners today. Kibble, which is what most people feed their cat and their dogs, is only about 10% moisture. Canned food, or I call it wet food, is closer to 80% moisture. So that being said, most issues that are presented outwardly, like being overweight, urinary issues, even excess shedding or hairballs, everything that presents outwardly starts from the inside. The same is true for people. So for example, if you break out a lot or if you're overweight, it's probably because you have a poor diet. Or at least it'll add to it. So basically, if your cat is healthy inside, it'll be healthier outside. And what this means is that what most cat owners are doing, aka feeding kibble and only kibble, is not helping their cat. In fact, you're making your cat sick. You're reducing the life of your cat. And it's not that people are doing this purposely. Well, at least I would hope not. It's that you just don't know. And I am right along with you, because I didn't know up until very recently. And I was always good about, at the very least, turning the bag around and, oh, look, ingredients, and actually reading them. That's a good thing to do. But it never came up that, oh, cats need moisture in their diet. Well, why is that? Well, I'll tell you why. Cats are actually descended from desert animals, meaning that they don't actively seek out water because they were basically developed to eat their moisture, because water isn't very prevalent in the desert, hence why it's a desert. So basically what this means is that they have a very low thirst drive. If you see your kitty drinking from the water bowl, that's actually really bad. That means that your cat is dehydrated. Your cat will get to 8% total bodily dehydration before they will actively seek out water. I know 8%, like, what? That doesn't sound like a whole lot. It's only 8%. 8% means that your kitty should be getting, like, fluids intravenously, like, stat. Like, it's a lot more important than it sounds. So basically, most cats, because they're fed only kibble, which is only about 10% moisture, and they don't really make up for that lack of moisture in their kibble by drinking, and even if they did, they'd have to take 2,286 laps, I believe it is, in order to equal the amount of moisture that they need in a day. You know how many laps that is? That would take, like, hours. That's a lot of water that they're missing out on. So it starts to dry out their skin, and then you start to see things like dandruff and extra shedding. They're going to their food and trying to eat more of it because they think that's going to somehow get them the moisture, because that's just instinctual for them. And it's going to cause them to do things like gain weight because they're eating so much. Plus, kibble is really starchy, and honestly, most kibble is actually more plant-based than meat-based because it needs to have all that starch and preservatives in order to hold in that tight little kibble form. Kibble is more about convenience for us and much less about what's best for your animal. But we'll get into that in a later video. So because kitty is so dried out, like I said, they'll have unhealthy dry skin, extra shedding, they'll be overweight. You'll see issues like bladder infections, and you'll get to a point where you feed kitty kibble long enough, and only kibble, they'll get FLUTD, which is, again, feline lower urinary tract disease, because the bladder is not getting enough liquid to flush out all the toxins. All the toxins therefore sit in this dried out bladder, and then it starts to cause all sorts of health issues, and it'll cause pain when your kitty goes to the bathroom. And by the way, if you notice kitty going outside of the litter box, that means that you need to take them to the vet, because what they do is they associate the litter box with their source of pain incorrectly, but they don't know that. And so they'll start avoiding it because they think, hey, whenever I go pee in this litter box, it hurts. So they'll start going pee in other places around the house. It's not because they're trying to make you mad, I promise. Actually, a lot of things that your cat doesn't make you mad, they're not doing it to make you mad, I swear to God. Anyway, that's a whole other thing. So, what is the solution? How do I prevent my cat from getting urinary issues and shedding crazy and all this other stuff that you're talking about, Tryniti? Well, I will tell you, feed your cat food high in moisture. It's really simple. If you're currently doing a kibble-only diet, start introducing wet food. Even a quarter can a day, just to get started, you're going to see improvements in your cat. When I got my cat Yumi, who you'll see in a lot of my videos if you happen to watch them, she had spent the first 5 years of her life on kibble. And since, I already knew about, the necessity of moisture in the diet, among other things that canned food provides that kibble does not, I noticed the difference within 2 weeks. For one, her dandruff went away, which was fantastic because dandruff is gross. Sorry if you have it, it just is. No offense. But especially in your cat, because, your cat will sit on your couch for 10 minutes and then get up and there's all these little flakes and hairs everywhere and you're just like, ugh. So, yeah, so the dandruff went away with the wet food, which was a big deal. Her coat is now so soft and shiny and luxurious, like just, oh, it's made a real difference. And now that she's been on an all wet food diet, I supplement her occasionally with from kibble, which is another thing I'll get into in another video. But she eats like 99% wet food, and she just continues to improve, which is really nice. So basically, gradually increase the wet food until you're feeding. If you even do just like a half kibble, half wet food diet, you're already vastly improving the life of your cat. They're going to live longer, they're going to live healthier. But you can go to an all wet food diet, and that's one of the best things that you can do, especially if they're used to kibble. And it's also one of the best ways to avoid fluted, which will cause you a lot of very pricey vet visits later on in life if you don't avoid that. So even though wet food is a little bit more expensive than most kibble, it's definitely worth it. Again, with my cat, I noticed a big difference. I've talked to a lot of people who have also noted differences in their cats by adding moisture, and it's something that is proven. I mean, if you talk to most vets who actually know what they're talking about. One thing I'd like to mention about vets, they're very smart individuals. They're fantastic at saving your pet's life. However, the things that they are trained on is more like how to perform surgeries on your animals and how to diagnose things and the anatomy. Most of them don't go through a nutrition training. They don't know a whole lot about your pet's nutrition. So most of the time, if your kitty gets sick, the first thing they're going to go to is Science Diet. I don't know what it is with vets and Science Diet. They must have like a contract with those people, I swear to God. Science Diet is not going to really do a whole lot for your cat if they have fluted. You need to get that wet food in there. I mean, if you turn around the bag, just look at the ingredient. I tell you, just look at the ingredients. You're going to notice that the ingredients in your kibble that you're already feeding and the ingredients in your Science Diet, not too terribly different. Wet food is the way to go. And if you want to look that up by a vet who actually has done a lot of training in nutrition, I'll provide the link. Her name is Dr. Becker. She's a holistic veterinarian, and she's fantastic. She also has her own magazine called, I think it's called Dog Naturally or something like that. And you can talk to her on Facebook. So, look that up, and you don't just have to take my word for it, but do your research. Like I said, cats are desert animals. They have a low thirst drive, and therefore they'll get extremely dehydrated. And most cats are just dehydrated all the time, and it causes all these health issues. Think of how dried out and just kind of not good you feel if you go like 2 or 3 days without drinking water. It's kind of the same thing, except that you have that thirst drive a lot more than your cat does, although lots of people are dehydrated too. So anyway, like I said, I'll provide some links below, including one to my favorite holistic vet, Dr. Becker, and I'm happy to have positive informational discussions. Anyone who doesn't wish to have a positive discussion will not have their comment approved. You've been given fair warning. I'd also be happy to answer any questions that this may have raised as best as I can. If I don't know the answer, I'm not going to make up an answer. I'm not going to steer you wrong by any means. I will say, hey, you know what, I'm not sure. Let's go ask this expert or look at this expert together, and we'll learn together. This is what this is all about for me. It's about sharing information, educating other pet owners, and elongating the lives of their pets. I know for me, I was super stoked when I found out, oh my god, there's a way that I can make my pet healthier and help them live longer, and so I did it, and I'm actually already noticing huge improvements, and my cat's been on a wet food diet for a month now, and I'll say she even has a lot more energy. She didn't used to play like she does now. So, yeah, like I said, ask me any questions if you want to like and subscribe. I know this is really only my first video that's meant for people besides, like I said, friends and family. So be patient with me while I figure out how to do this whole YouTube thing. Unless you're an Aries, then, you know, I forgive you for not having patience. Patience is not our virtue. Yeah, so now it's time for some thrilling heroics. I'm off. Bye-bye, guys. Thanks for watching.